Hi, I'm Nick the Awkward Yeti, and this is Patreon Creator Chronicles. And I was just going through some of my old things, and I found some old letters that I thought were interesting. And since we're right in between Mother's Day and Father's Day in the US, I thought this is kind of an appropriate thing to share for my Creator Chronicles. I have this letter from my dad when I was about 15, and it's kind of about uh, growing up and becoming an adult and maintaining good character and all that. And there's this line in here that really stood out to me, which basically encourages me to use as much of your brain power and heart as possible. And I thought, how wild is that to just find after all these years? I haven't seen it probably since I was a kid. And I realize how supportive my parents were when I was a kid. They were unnaturally supportive. I talked to a lot of people about their careers in art, especially cartoonists, and their parents very often were directing them more towards lucrative careers, something that pays well, has a steady paycheck, maybe. Around where I live near Detroit, a lot of engineers, a lot of encouragement in that direction, doctors, lawyers, that sort of thing. That's often encouraged by parents because it's seen as a little bit more stable. And, maybe it is, I don't know. But my parents were really supportive of what I did, which was cartooning. I always loved cartooning, and I can prove it with this a letter I sent to Universal Press Syndicate asking if they could send me, like, I want to be a cartoonist. Can you send me a signature or some art by Gary Larson? And of course, they're like, no, he doesn't do that. But they did send this really nice letter with advice on being a cartoonist, so clearly I had asked about that. And I thought this was especially interesting because this is who became my publisher, which my first two books were New York Times bestsellers. So, of course, I really enjoy finding that letter. I also, a couple of years ago, I found a rejection slip from them when I tried to get syndicated many years ago. So I thought that was fun. I also have this newspaper clipping of Bill Watterson because he was stopping Calvin and Hobbes. So apparently I cut that out. I was really into it. I was always into it. It was very apparent, and I wasn't a really strong student, so maybe my parents were just like, well, let's encourage him to do something because he's not good at anything else. I was in advanced math and all that stuff, but academics and I just don't really click. We're, we don't go that well together. My mom even encouraged me to go to art school, but I thought, what am I going to do with that? I can't make any. I was the one holding myself back. I'm the one saying, where's the money in that? So I ended up getting this degree in psychology, which I think did serve me really well, especially for where I ended up. Uh, but I did have very encouraging parents. I one time was at a restaurant where you can draw on the tablecloths and on the paper that they put over it. So I was drawing all of the characters that I had made up over the years, and my dad took a photo of it, and he had business cards printed out with all of my characters from that drawing on the back of it. And I just thought it was so great how supportive they always were. And I think when it got to the point where I was seriously going to do this for a living, I didn't have any concerns. Even though I was older, I could make my own decisions. You still kind of think about what your parents think. And I didn't have to worry about that. I knew that if I was going to jump ship from my corporate job that I had been at for a really long time and was really miserable doing, I knew it would be fine with them and they would encourage me. And of course they did. And that makes the whole process so much easier when you have that encouragement. So you should always have people to encourage you nearby, your friends, your significant other, your parents, family. You want to surround yourself with that kind of energy. It's way better for you, especially the proactive energy, the kind of encourages you and doesn't just say, you do whatever you want, but is there and saying, like, go for it. That's good energy. That's what you want. And I'm really glad that I had parents that encouraged it as I was growing up. And I hope if you're a parent that you're encouraging what your kids love to do, because really anything that they love, there's going to be some way to turn that into a lucrative career. If that's what you want for them, then, and it's not a traditional thing, then maybe teach them more about entrepreneurship. Even as a doctor, you probably, if you're going to be like a general practitioner or something, you probably need some entrepreneurship. So it's a very useful skill in determining your own career and if you want to sort of shape it the way that you want it. And that can go for, just about any sort of job. So thank you, Mom and Dad, for your support over the years, and please encourage your kids and have a great rest of your week.